doesn't get more English than this. Chronicles of English Summers. And we're moving on now to 1996. I'm doing radio and television. So, air ticket taken care of, accommodation taken care of, not very swish, not very luxurious, but much easier to travel around now. And ESPN has just launched in India. We're doing pre-shows and we're doing commentary. We're also, along with a young English producer called Mark Lynch, who later became the chief director of cricket at Sky, are going around doing feature stories. What are we traveling around in? A Tata Sierra. In those days, it used to be called Tata Gurkha here in India. One of our stories is in Leicester. We're driving through Leicester and I'm looking around and I do not see a single sign in English. It's almost as if I was in Surat all over again. And so we do all our stories, we come around, it's the test match, we've got to do a pre-show. Not the 1.5, 2 hour pre-shows that we have now. We have a 6 or 7 minute window. Sky is doing their own programs. In between, because we can't afford a camera crew, right? It's just 2 of us. In between, they give us a window saying, finish your pre-show in that much time. It's uploaded to Singapore, it's played out from Singapore, then we start our commentary. What am I doing? I'm doing 2-3 questions with Ravi Shastri. I'm just starting out as an anchor. I'm very nervous about remembering questions, right? So I carry a paper like this. And so I say, right, Ravi, what do you think? And as Ravi's answering, I'm ready for my next question. And one day, Ravi decided he's going to play a prank on me. So I do this. Ravi, what do you think? It's a beautiful day. Do you win the toss and bat first? Do you think India have got what it takes? Ravi looks at me and says, yes. Now, when he says yes, is the time I'm looking in, right? So I said, sorry. But Ravi, do you think England will be challenged? No. And I could see a smile forming on the side of that Ravi Shastri's lip. I knew he's playing a prank on me. But we got by because you see, we didn't have a second option. If we stopped at that point, Sky would start their program. We have no pre-show at all. And so we learned along. And that's how you learn. You bumble along. You'll find your way along. And then, of course, after that, Ravi Shastri and we've had many, many, many more moments together. But what a tour it was. Navjot Singh Sidhu walked out of that tour. Tendulkar got 100 in Birmingham. That was as good as any 100 you will ever see. He made 122 out of 219. I think next highest is 18. And then we go to Lords. Venkatesh Prasad is bowling beautifully. It's his first series. Rahul Dravid scores 95, but that series is the arrival of Sourav Ganguly. He scores a magnificent 100 at Lords. Next morning, we have to interview him. I'm standing right on the edge, and as soon as we see Ganguly walking by from the practice nets, I walk across to say hello to him because we're doing an interview, until the steward taps me on the shoulder and says, "Where do you think you're going?" I said, I'm Indian television accreditation, going to meet Mr. Ganguly, who scored 100 yesterday against your team. You don't walk on the grass, young man, this is Lords. Now, there is a little bit of space, no more than this much, between the boundary rope, the boundary hoarding and the boundary rope. It's space of 1 foot. So I put 1 foot in there, 1 foot in the air, 1 foot in the air, one on the ground, 1 in the air, and I've literally hopped across because my foot cannot touch the grass at Lords. I've hopped across, do this interview with Ganguly, which, as with all interviews in those days, the questions were much longer than the answers. Ganguly hardly spoke in those days. But it was wonderful. 1996, we saw some fantastic cricket. India lost the series, but found Dravid, Ganguly, and for those 2 or 3 years, found Venkatesh Prasad as well. And I wasn't carrying my manual typewriter anymore.